Hello, my name's Amber Heron, and today I'm going to be giving you my book report of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is written by Stephen Covey, and my name's Amber Heron, and let's get into it. So, a little bit of background on this book. The original was published in 1989, but I have chosen the updated version with insights from Dr. Covey's son, Sean Covey. For this book report. It's the copy that I could find, and it was published in 2020, like re-released in 2020. So today I will be giving you a synopsis of the 7 habits that Covey explains that are the key to success. And then I will be explaining to you how this book connects with the material presented in this class. I will also review the book and offer some insights and recommendations to Covey and others who would like to read this book. So, in the 7 habits, it's obviously about 7 habits that Dr. Covey believes that are of highly effective people that can lead you to success. So, habit number 1 is being proactive. He says that we are response able for all of our actions. That means that we are able to choose our response and therefore choose our feelings. We are in control of all of our actions and feelings. So, being responsible for our lives that are driven by our values, and our core values are really important to who we are and how successful we can be. So, he explains how all that is a choice and it is in our control, and we should focus on what we can control in our circle of influence and not worry so much about what's outside of our circle of influence, which is in the circle of concern. Those are things that we cannot control, and we spend time wasting away on those worries. The second habit is begin with the end in mind. To embody this, we must generate a clear goal in which we reach success. So he theorizes that everything is created twice. The first creation is in the plan and the steps you lay out in order to reach a goal. And then secondly, in the execution. To determine our goals and values, we should also create a personal mission statement so we have a clear-cut end in mind. And then our third habit that he says is to put first things first. This is all about putting the things we value most at the forefront of our minds and efforts, and we must focus on the goals that we cherish deepest and not to let the small stuff weigh us down. In order to do this, we must schedule time to reach our goals. Otherwise, we will just forget about them and never act upon them. So we need to lay out time in which we're going to take those steps to reach our goals. Sorry, one more thing. These 3 habits are private victories. So these are not things that other people are going to recognize. These are internal victories and things you have to overcome within yourself. These 3 steps have to be completed before we can go on to the 4, 5, and 6. So you cannot do them out of order. There's no way to skip a step. You must have the first 3 habits in order to succeed in the following habits. So these habits are all under the public victory. These are things that people are going to recognize, and they have to do with others. So habit number 4 is think win-win. That means that you want to reach a mutual benefit in all of your interactions. So focus on the result of everyone winning who's involved, not just you winning, other people winning as well. He also mentions the emotional banks, which is like you deposit energy into other people's bank, and then you also withdraw from that. And you want to make sure you don't always withdraw from other people, otherwise people will get fed up with you. And there's 5 dimensions to making win-win happen as well that he mentions. Habit 5 is to seek first to understand and then be understood. So he says in order to be understood, you must first understand others and actively listen, more than actively listen, empathize with them and seek a deep understanding first. Once you have a deep understanding of what they're trying to tell you, then you can become influenceable, and then you will be understood. Once you have that influence and that connection with someone else, then you could be understood. And the habit number 6 is to synergize. So this is working with others to embrace our differences and come up with a solution that may not have ever came about before. You have to be open-minded to new ideas and solutions in order to get number 6 done, and you have to have very high trust and high cooperation with others. The 7th habit is sharpen the saw. This means that you need to take care of yourself and reward yourself physically, mentally, social, and emotionally, and spiritually. And you need to nourish yourself and recharge in order to keep being successful and keep following all of these habits. Otherwise, you may burn out. So always do self-care in all 4 of these regions of your personal well-being in order to keep being successful. So there are some connections to our class discussions. Everybody should embody these habits and they'll naturally become a leader. So a lot of these habits align really well with Peter's rule number 3, leadership is confusing as hell article. I've listed out a couple on the screen there for you. They tie in very well with the 7 habits. Like ambiguity, that's working together for the unknown, that's that synergy. Leaders do create their own destinies. That relates perfectly with everything that's created twice, because you create it once on your plan and then you go forward and actually execute. And understanding the power of relationships, the emotional bank, and working with others is so crucial, according to Dr. Covey. And then also, Covey also explains that leadership is not an action, but it's a way of life. And we've learned this through discussions and other assignments so far. He embodies this through his writing, because he is not just talking about leadership in this book. He's talking about everyday life, every interaction you have with people. And also, leadership is not one size fits all. It is different for everyone. And he embodies this within this book because he has a lot of reflective exercises that you should be doing. He asks you to question yourself deeply and really gets you in your own mind to sit there and reflect on your life, and then so you can create your own benefit from reading it in your own nature. So some reactions that I had after reading this was that I just love the steps. It's very relatable and applicable to everyone. He also mentions in the opening that his intent was for this book to be served as a companion for change and growth, and that you should revisit the individual chapters as needed, because it's not just a book that you sit down and read once. He wants you to reference it and actually use it as like a guidebook for your success and career and keeping yourself centered on these 7 habits. Because you can change bad habits for better habits, and he wants you to do that through this. And he also includes the insights from his son, and those are super helpful because it's very casual to read, and it helps you kind of reflect and really get that information better. I really think the quality of this book is very nice. He uses very good images and language so that the readers can envision themselves in his shoes. And I feel like through that, I can apply the concepts better because he explains stories that you probably have encountered in your life as well. So then you can say, oh my gosh, I did that so wrong, and then learn from it. And then lastly, some recommendations I have for Covey is just on the length. It's very beneficial because of how detailed he is, but it's also harmful at the same time because it kind of like loses you after a little while. He will be really good at explaining something, but then I just feel like it can get a little repetitive. But for some people, that can really drive home the ideas, so I understand why he does it. I think the writing is very good overall. One other thing is less examples. He gives many different examples, which is very helpful to explaining the situations in which you should and shouldn't respond certain ways and how to follow the rules and habits. But it also is kind of redundant in that it makes it read slower and kind of lose interest in certain chapters. And then a few recommendations I have for the readers of this book is that even if you consider yourself a good leader, you should read it because of the examples he gives. You can learn life lessons and different situational solutions that he offers. And also go through and use the application steps and recommendations at the end of each chapter, because those are really good at reflecting and helping you grow personally in your own way that you need to grow. And lastly, I just want to thank you for watching this and staying till the end. I do recommend this book, and I'm going to keep recommending it to other people because I believe there's something in this book for everyone to learn, no matter your strengths or weaknesses. So I look forward to watching your guys' videos. Thank you.